Hello and welcome back to Heart of Amethyst. We'll be continuing where we left off in Rodrick's route. So, as with the previous two routes, Ehlly was having a little breakdown, and in this route, Rodrick comes in, he sees what's happening, and then, he helps Ehlly calm down, which is a little uncharacteristic for Rodrick, but, it helps. And as with the other two routes, we'll be taken somewhere. I think it's a church by Rodrick. So we have that to look forward to. And I'm assuming there's going to be, as with the other routes, a scene involving him with... I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. The third time having to do this, but yeah. So, without further ado, let us begin, or let us continue Rodrick's route, I guess. As expected, being carried by another man on the street was bound to draw a few looks. I feared that Rodrick would drop me at any given second, but to my surprise, he never did. He actually paid no mind to the people who looked at us weirdly and just carried on towards the high city. At the time, I was feeling a little embarrassed, but the comfort of the wolf made me forget all my social inhibitions, at least until we made it past the bridge of the higher city. Because as soon as we crossed, rain started to fall upon the city. The wolf dropped me to my feet and told me to run for it, which I did. Even if I really didn't want to. I don't think it'll stop anytime soon, I say to Rodrick as I take off my pants. I decide not to wet the floor of our room with my clothes, taking most of them off before I set foot inside. On the other hand, the wolf didn't give two fucks about the floor, since he entered the room with his full set of armor still on. I sigh at the idea of being forced to mop the floor. Something I don't feel like doing at all, but I'm sure that the wolf won't offer himself to take the job. Doesn't matter. We're done for the day. Rodrick says this with his casual tone of voice, as he turns around to meet my eyes. He raises an eyebrow at me and crosses his arms, looking at me as if I had gone completely insane. I do the same in return, clearly annoying him. What? Care to explain why you are naked? Huh? The wolf's outputting stare suddenly makes me feel exposed and insecure, as if I were performing some forbidden action. I just didn't want to get the room wet. The wolf looked down and finally notices the puddles that have formed where he's standing. Something seems to click inside of him, and he seems to notice his mistake. I see. Didn't think about it that way. Rodrick sighs as he begins taking pieces of his armor off of him. He starts by unbuttoning the belt of his arm bucklers. Then, as he takes those off, he also removes the piece that covers his elbows. The boots come next, and let me tell you, those things look heavy as fuck. How can he even manage to walk around wearing those? Must be quite uncomfortable. Hey. His voice snaps me out of my thoughts and makes my eyes fall on his own. Those big red orbs that I've seen so many times by now. It's not a show. Beat it. Sorry. I turn around, my cheeks a little flustered. Did I really stare for that long? I didn't even notice. So for the next 5 minutes, I just stare at the wall until the wolf himself called for me. Hey, runt. Need a hand. Oh yeah? But I thought I was supposed to beat it. I say without turning around, not wanting to make him uncomfortable. Although, being honest, I am probably the only one feeling this way. Don't be a dick. Turn around. I do as he says, and I notice that he's got his back turned on me. His arms are trying to reach something that is behind him. Some sort of knot that is tying the shoulder plates to his back. You can't reach? Yes, now shut up and help me. I grunt at his not-so-polite response, but I end up helping him either way, and to be honest, seeing him struggle like this is kind of cute. Okay, do I just untie this? Seems really tight, though. Yes, so get to it. I roll my eyes again, but giggle at his antics. He sure hates to ask for help. Such a grumpy wolf. The knot is quite tight and it takes me a few seconds to properly untie it. No surprise he couldn't do it himself. But eventually it gives in and the armor falls to the ground with a loud thud. I got scared for a second, believing it hit my feet, but seems like no damage was done. Shit, man. This thing sure is heavy. It's supposed to protect you, runt. What did you expect? Rodrick begins to stretch his muscles, giving me a full display of his impressive back. His neck, even if covered by fur, is impressively thick. So are his shoulders and upper back. The only spot that is not perfectly toned is his lower back, where a bit of fat can be spotted. And to be honest, it suits him, as it makes him look thicker. But aside from all the muscle, there is something else that gets my attention. The huge scar in the form of an X in the middle of his back. I've seen it a few times, but this is the first time that I've been so close to it. The edges of the scar are irregular, and it seems like it didn't heal properly as the skin became too nasty looking. Unlike my own scar, which is smoother. Suddenly, an odd feeling overtook me, feeling tempted to touch it. I want to feel the skin of the wolf. I want to understand its pain. Perhaps, if I do, he'll finally open up to me. So I place my hand on top of him. I try to give it a good brush. Before I can notice, Rodrick turned around violently, hitting the side of my muzzle with the back of his fist. I ended up crashing on the floor, hitting my rear in the process. What the hell do you think you're doing? As I look up, I can see the wolf's orbs staring down at me. His eyes are full of hatred, which sends a chill down my spine, as I thought that he would never direct such a feeling towards me ever again. I thought we hadn't made some progress. Soon enough, my nose starts to bleed, and I hiss from the pain. I look away and cover my snout with my hands as I try to stand up with the other. The wolf just remains there, as still as a stone. He hasn't said anything or done anything. He's just keeping his eyes glued to me, and when I direct my gaze back at him, what I see surprises me. He seems scared. He looks at me with a terrified expression. The hand that he used to hit me with is shaking a little, and his ears are folded back. This doesn't feel like those times that he's hit me during the training. For some reason, I can see remorse in his eyes. But I don't understand this. Why is he so scared? What's going through his mind right now? You shouldn't have done that. Fuck. What were you thinking touching another man's back like that? I just wanted to... I need to take some air. And with that said, he storms out of the room and slams the door behind him, leaving me all alone with a bleeding nose and a lot of questions. After Rodrick left, I chose to head towards the bathroom, to tend my wound and to take a much-needed shower. I also decided not to give that episode much importance. I've always known the wolf has anger issues, and I was stupid enough to overstep my boundaries. Besides, knowing that wolf, he'll just try to sweep things under the rug, and I'm fine with that. I just want to enjoy the rest of the night, so I take my sweet time in the bathroom, cleaning myself from everything that happened today. Eventually, I finish up and then exit the bathroom with my dry underwear back on. As I walk back to our room, I encounter the innkeeper standing by the hallway. When he sees me, his ears perk up and he waves at me. I wave back as he approaches me. Sir, are you happy with your room? Is there anything that I can do? Oh, not at all, sir. The room is great. No complaints at all. Although thinking about it, one comes to mind. Except for the bed. You see, we are not that close to each other. There being only one bed made things a little inconvenient. Oh, by the goddesses! I am truly sorry, sir. No, it's okay. I'm just saying for next time. Well, that is on me. The king requested one room, so I had no idea two of his men would come at the same time. I should have been better prepared. So, if you desire, there is one free room at the end of the hallway. It is a little smaller, but I am sure that it will fit your needs just fine. That's great to know, thank you. And with that said, the man bows lightly and then walks away down the hall. I keep my eyes on him as he slowly vanishes from sight, and when he is gone, I just walk back to our room. When I open the door, I immediately spot the big black figure sitting by the window. He's clearly heard me enter, as I see his ears twitch. But looks like he has decided to ignore me for the night. So with nothing better to do, I sit by the edge of the bed, not saying a word. It's a real shame. I brought nothing to entertain myself with. All I can do for now is look at the ceiling and think. And honestly, thinking is the last thing that I want to be doing right now. My head is a mess. How's your nose? The voice of the wolf comes out of nowhere and makes me blink a few times, as I am not sure if I imagined it. It's fine. Is it broken? No, I don't think so. It hurts a little, though. Here, let me see. The wolf finally turns around to meet my gaze. He walks to my side of the bed and crouches in front of me. He then places his hand on my cheek and applies some pressure. Does it hurt when I do this? Seriously, I'm fine, man. It's nothing. I slap his hand away as I back off a little. What's gotten into him? This is really making me uncomfortable. I mean, he's never given a shit if I was injured or not. How am I even supposed to react to this? Next time I hit you like that, make sure to hit back. That way, you won't make me feel so guilty. Damn it. The wolf stands up and then walks towards the door. Meanwhile, I just watch his back as he exits the room. Eventually, when the silence sets and I notice how fast my heart is beating, a thought crosses my mind. Was I fucking blushing? Oh goddesses, I totally was, wasn't I? That's so embarrassing. Worst thing is, he had just touched me for a few seconds, so I don't even want to imagine what would have happened if things had escalated. Wait. Escalated? What am I even thinking? This is Rodrick we're talking about. Something like that would never have happened in a million years. But still. I touch my cheek, trying to remember the feeling of his hand on it. So warm. So, how was your bath? Did you enjoy the hot water? I tried to strike up a conversation with the wolf as he returned. Anything to leave the whole experience behind us. I don't care about that stuff. I just use the water from the barrel. Meaning that he didn't even enjoy the pleasure of washing his fur with hot water? What kind of monster is he? You just wasted a perfect chance to enjoy yourself, you know. The wolf raises an eyebrow, then rolls his eyes, as if I was the one in the wrong here. The audacity. Told you, I don't care. Rodrick moves past me and decides to lean against one of the walls. So... do you know a lot of people from the church? What makes you think I do? I mean, we're going there tomorrow? I'm just curious to know if you got any connections there. Besides, you must have suggested it for a reason, right? It was just the first thing that crossed my mind. Don't give it much thought. I can't help but wonder if that's actually the real reason. But knowing him, no matter how much I pry in the matter, he won't say a thing. Back to silence, the wolf doesn't show any sign of continuing the conversation. So I decide to respect his wishes and just lay in bed, my back turned to him. A few minutes pass and the wolf just stands there without moving or saying a word. Ugh, this is so unbearable to think that he's just standing there. How does he even manage to make all of our interactions uncomfortable as fuck? So annoying. Perhaps I should talk to him about something? So, how's Eddie? Why do you ask? Just humor me. He took a deep blow to his ego. The bastard was so angry that he refused to get his bruises checked. Heh, good to know. I feel a certain sense of accomplishment as I hear Rodrick say that. The bastard had it coming. You did well in that fight, tried your best, and it showed. Thanks, I had a good teacher. I turned back around to face him, catching a glimpse of his smile. Good teacher. I just had to hit you a few times until I got something useful out of you. Nothing to it. I chuckle at his response. Did Rodrick just make a joke? The world must be upside down. Any skilled swordsman could have done it, really. Yeah, but you're a really good man. None of the knights I've seen have a skill such as yours. Thinking about that, Eddie mentioned that you were one of the best swordsmen in the entire kingdom. Was he exaggerating? People just like to run their mouths. Maybe. Or maybe they say it for a reason. You must have done something to earn you the title of best swordsman. Don't you think? Not really a title. I'm just a good knight, that's all. I've kept the people safe. I've bled on the battlefield like everyone else, and I've buried my loved ones like any soldier. There is nothing special about me. Dang, this took a dark turn pretty quick. So he's lost someone on the field, huh? I wish I could ask him about it, but I know that he would just evade my question, or he wouldn't answer at all. The silence soon fills the room, but I don't want to give up the conversation just yet. I feel like this is one of those rare moments in which Rodrick is actually willing to talk with me. So not wanting to waste this chance, I ready myself for the next question, since I haven't been able to think of anything else after what happened at the shop with Pat. So, there's something that I wanted to ask you. What does it feel like? Killing, I mean. The wolf remains silent, and sadly, I can't really read his expression. The first time is hard. You feel dizzy, your arms shake, and the nausea is unstoppable. I can only imagine how traumatic it must be to witness someone's life wither away in front of you. And worst of all, by your own hand. If Rodrick hadn't stopped me that time, I would be... Then it gets easier. You begin to consider it less. They just become a count that you keep in your head until, eventually, there are too many to count. Have you killed a lot of people working as a royal knight? Not as a royal knight. I want to ask him more about the topic, but the wolf moves from his wall and turns off the candles. He then turns at me and says, "Give me the blanket. I'll sleep on the floor." That takes me by surprise, as I was just expecting him to take the other side of the bed. I mean, he's huge and the bed is not that big. But I'm sure that we can fit in if we squeeze together. Although, personally, I'm not sure how he would take that idea. He doesn't like personal contact one bit, and as far as I know, he could hit me in my sleep if I'm not careful. Still, am I really going to let this man sleep on the floor for my sake? No, I should just invite him over. The floor is way too cold, even for him. Besides, he's also got an awful backache. I would know. So, sighing deeply, I move a little closer to the edge of the bed, hopefully giving the wolf enough space for him to lie down. Hop on, I say as I pat the empty spot beside me. The wolf decides to give me a confused look before grunting. We are not sleeping in the same bed, Runt. So would you rather sleep on the cold floor and risk getting sick? Stop being so uptight and get over here. I promise I won't bite you or anything, so don't worry about that. We will need to find a comfortable position for the both of us, though. I mean, have you seen how big you are? Clearly we'll have to squeeze together so we fit. But just for the sake of sleeping comfortably, don't get any weird ideas. For all I care, you can just sleep on the floor and get back pains. It's not like it's my problem or anything. Baka. Like, I'm actually trying to take care of you. But will you shut the fuck up if I just say yes? The wolf interrupts me in the middle of my speech, making me blush, as it made me notice how much I ran my mouth. Gosh, why am I getting nervous all of a sudden? It's not like I actually care if he sleeps on the floor or not. I'm just trying to be nice. Right? The wolf takes his pants off without a warning, and I can't help but blush. He's not using a robe like most people. He's wearing a very thick-looking undergarment that only covers his junk, which is quite impressive if I may say so. Makes me feel a little tiny in comparison. Without a second thought, Rodrick drops on the bed, making it creak with our combined weight. The wolf then lays with his back turned to me on his side of the bed. Which, let's be honest, is at least 70% of the entirety of it. Following in his example, I also lay completely bare on top of the bed. I feel like I'm going to fall off the bed, so I carefully try to move back, but to no one's surprise, the wolf's back blocks my path to safety. I want to tell him to move, but I fear that he'll react badly to my complaints, so I remain quiet instead. It seems like this will be a difficult night, so I try to get a head start and fall asleep. But as I close my eyes, I hear the wolf moving around. He tries to move back into bed, but luckily for me, he notices that I am here and he stops. Because if he had carried on with that, I would be kissing the floor right now. Hey, runt. Got any space left on your side? Are you kidding me? I'm on the edge of the bed. I knew this was a bad idea. Rodrick sighs and then shifts a little more on his side of the bed. Turn around and we can get comfortable together. I am not hugging you, runt. Then enjoy your night as it is. Ugh, fine. I hear and I feel the wolf turning on the bed, taking him a few seconds since he's quite heavy. I'm so sorry, Mr. Bed. When he finally is facing me, I feel a huge empty space behind me. So not wanting to fall off, I move back a little until I am eventually stopped by Rodrick's belly and hard-as-rock pecs. He also gets comfortable, getting one of his arms under my head and placing the other one on top of me, using his hand to hold my chest with an iron grip. My heart skips a beat as a certain familiar scent hits my nose. The wolf's musk is quite strong since he didn't take a complete bath after we made it back. That musk, combined with the vanilla perfume he uses, makes my nose go into overdrive mode, making me wish that I had turned to the other side so I could smell the fluff on his chest. After a few seconds pass, I decide to place myself a little closer to him, pressing my butt on his belly and my back on his front. His warmth is really cozy, making me feel as if I am wrapped in a nice blanket. His arm muscles are so firm that I can't help but give them a squeeze as I embrace the wolf. Stay still, dammit. I want to fucking sleep. Sorry. I say, finally noticing how much of a horn dog I am. This is going to be a difficult night. I hope that I get some sleep at least. As expected, I did not get much sleep. I swear I tried, but my brain was restless. I've been awake for at least 3 hours by now. Could be more, could be less, but I'm not sure myself. Haven't been keeping count. Point is, I just couldn't sleep. Too many things in my head, I guess. So here I am, all alone in the middle of the night, staring at the diary Mr. Biscotti left me, with nothing but a candle to light the room. I keep my eyes on the book, inspecting it as best I can with the amount of light that I have. The leather feels good against my paws. It's certainly not the cheap kind. The pages are also of great quality, thick, and won't rip easily, at least as far as I can tell. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on diaries or whatever. I just think that this is too much. I mean, how much did he even pay for this? He should have used that money for something more important. I don't deserve this anyway. I sigh and then place the book back on the table, scratching my head as I try to feel some sort of comfort. Right under my left ear, the secret spot in which I've always loved to be scratched at. Doing it by myself feels a little lame, but it reminds me of my mom, so I do it when I'm feeling lonely or sad. I need to pull it together, I say, trying to calm my nerves. After all, I can't break down now. Tomorrow is a very important day, and I need to be ready. I don't feel like sleeping though, to be honest. I'm more awake than ever. Perhaps I should stop moping around and do something useful for a change. Or at least, I think that's what Mr. Biscotti would say. I guess it's only you and me, buddy. I say as I lift the book and open it. I write my name in the first diary page and then rip it off. Then I place it in a little pocket the diary has as a way of marking it as mine. Guess I could also pee on it, but I'm not that kind of canine. Anyways, time to get creative. The codex has been added. The next morning, a ray of light wakes me from my sleep. It's coming from the window on top of the bed. As I open my eyes, I notice the wooden ceiling of the room. I stretch my body, feeling a little sore after falling asleep on the table last night. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking when... Wait a minute. I was in the main hall last night, so then... How the fuck did I end up here? I stand up from the bed with a jump, feeling weird about just being there. Think, did I walk back up? Perhaps I sleepwalked? I've heard some people do that when they lose their minds. Might actually be losing it, all things considered. Fuck, am I? As the morning drowsiness starts to vanish, my thoughts begin to settle, and my mindset changes from stupid to less stupid. That's when I notice the absence of a certain wolf, who should be here since he supposedly slept here last night. Could it be that he carried me all the way back? Dang it, that would be so embarrassing, but it's the only logical explanation. Because I doubt any of the other guests would even have the key to open this room. Fuck, why didn't he wake me up? Now he's going to think that I'm a useless pup. As if he needed another reason to think that. As my mind tries to come up with an excuse to tell the wolf, I notice a piece of paper laying on top of the desk. As I inspect it, I notice that it was probably written in a hurry since the handwriting looks awful. Runt went to the harbor. Don't follow me and go do something useful with your morning. The short note doesn't tell me much, but at least now I know where Rodrick is. I wonder what reason he could probably have to go to a place like that, and why wouldn't he want to be followed? Besides, I thought the king had arranged it so that we would be free today. Then why... Could it be... a juicy secret? Suddenly the idea of Rodrick doing something naughty fills me with glee. He always is so uptight about rules and whatnot that this is like finding a three-legged chicken. My mind immediately jumps to all the possibilities, since I hardly know a thing about him. Maybe he's the leader of a contraband gang. He's been keeping it a secret as he acts like the good old captain of the Royal Knights. Or perhaps he's got a secret lover and he's planning to run away with her on a boat. I decide that I must find out if any of my assumptions are correct. So dressing up as fast as I can, I set forward to my new adventure. What a wonderful idea I just had. I'll do exactly the opposite of what he asked me to do. What could possibly go wrong? The docks look and smell just as I remember them. Fishy. A bunch of illegal activities are conducted in this area. There are as many thieves as there are clouds in the sky, so each merchant has to be really careful with their goods. Also, half of these boats are pirates who bring their contraband from other parts of the world. You can also see many whores running around as well, trying to lure new and old clients into their business. There are at least 5 or 6 whore houses in this area. And the worst criminals of them all are the knights themselves. They intimidate the merchants into paying ridiculous fees that they're not obliged to pay. Besides, if someone speaks up or tries to defend themselves, they will use force without doubting it. Yes, this is the environment in which I spent most of my teenage years back in the day. I can't even remember how many times we got chased by the guards after messing up with them. We used to throw horse poo to their heads, and sometimes we even hit them on the back of the knee as we passed them running. Like, I'm not proud of stealing from others, but being able to mess with the knights was the only fun part of being in that gang. That being said, I haven't seen Rodrick even once, and I've been looking for at least an hour. Makes me wonder if he's slacking off on his job, or if he's even here at all. As I continue walking, I decide to browse some of the shops. Sometimes, you can find real gold in here. Like that one time I bought a magical monkey hand that grants wishes. I mean, I'm still waiting for my wish to come true, but I have faith. I know I'll grow taller one of these days.
Him! It was him! Go after him!
Oh wow, sounds like someone's in trouble. I've just got you, you little rat! Before I can even acknowledge what was happening, I suddenly don't feel the floor on my feet anymore. A strong force picked me up by my scruff, and it's holding me up. Although that voice, I would recognize it anywhere. The situation actually brings me back some memories. Runt? What do you think you're doing? You know, I could ask you the same. Please put me down. You're embarrassing me. The wolf grunts, but thankfully does as I say, safely placing me back on the ground. I clean the non-existent dust out of my shoulder and adjust my cloak. That's when I notice all the eyes locked on us. I blush deeply after the humiliation that I've been put through, but I decide to swallow it down and say nothing to the wolf. For the sake of not making a bigger scene.
Did you catch him? Does he have it?
A tiger comes running and catches up to us, which seems to be out of breath as he takes a moment to calm himself. I look back at Rodrick, who just has his signature annoyed expression on his face. Directed at me, of course. Let's just go back to your boat for now, shall we?
Ah, I see. So you know this person.
That is correct. He can't be the thief. Heh, not the first time someone has accused me of something like that. Although this time it feels more out of the blue. I wonder what happened. Maybe it was another white fox? As they continue talking, I just stand by the sidelines, listening to what they're saying. And as far as I've gathered, this tiger guy, whose name is foreign and confusing, sells paintings. I mean, his name is Atushy. That's just a mouthful. Well, anyway, back to the point. It seems like his most expensive painting got stolen by some burglars. And Rodrick's been here all morning trying to help him. Please, give me a second now, sir. I must talk to my companion. Rodrick fakes a smile and then turns his back to the tiger, making us walk a bit further away from him. The wolf crosses his arms and then looks at me with a severe expression. Why the fuck are you here? He says it as he tries to keep his voice low, although he's clearly annoyed. I just wanted to know what you were up to. That's nice and all, Runt, but didn't I tell you specifically not to come? Yeah? But that only made me more worried. My explanation clearly didn't convince him at all, since he's watching me with the most cynical expression possible. So, anyway, what's the deal with this guy? Why did you have to come here personally? I thought the king gave you the day off. He did, but this came out of nowhere. Besides, the guy back there is a kind of a big deal. The prince himself hired him to make him a painting. A well-known artist? Apparently. I personally don't see it, but that's not for me to decide. So yes, the one the prince had asked for. Dang, that's unlucky. The wolf sighs as he rubs his temples. He clearly seems irritated by this whole matter. I wonder if it's because they made him work on his free day. Well, since you're here already, might as well make yourself useful. Keep an eye out for this cat. Convince them to stop following me around. It's annoying. What? How will I convince him? Well, I figured that since you never shut your mouth, you would be good with your words. Hey, that's not very nice of you. I cross my arms and look at him with an annoyed expression, to which he responds with a smirk. A smirk that disappears quickly as we hear the tiger talking.
Excuse me, sir. Are you two done?
The tiger seems a little nervous. He's rubbing his paws one against the other as his tail is twitching from side to side. I mean, I would probably be nervous too if I just got the work of my life stolen. Keep him here. I'm off. The wolf whispers before patting my back and walking off. Tiger Man tries to follow him behind him, but I stop him with one of my paws. How about we wait for him here, sir? I'll keep you company.
But what if he needs my help?
Rodrick will be fine on his own, sir. I assure you, he's the most competent knight for the job. He's the captain, after all. Shall we sit? The tiger looks anxious, but I try to be as reassuring as I can. He eventually gives up his idea to follow behind the wolf and goes to sit with me. It just took me like 10 seconds to convince him. Luckily, Rodrick is not a church social worker. He would starve. Anyway, taking the merchant back to his shop, I managed to notice some things about him. He's obviously a tiger, given all the stripes on his body. Although, I hope I'm not just assuming. I haven't seen that many felines. But that's not the only thing that's caught my attention. His way of dressing is also very interesting. It just looks very expensive and uncomfortable, adjectives that are normally used to refer to the noble's clothing. So this guy must be really a big deal. He doesn't behave like a noble at all, though. There's not that annoying noble like Aurora around him, which makes me wonder if he became rich or if he was just born into it. But that doesn't matter much, does it? I wonder if Rodrick will be able to retrieve that painting. I wish I could help. Now that I think about it, since we're not doing much, I could ask him directly what happened. I know my way around this area, so perhaps I can be of some assistance? Yeah, let's give it a try. So, Mr. Atushy? The tiger looks at me with a nervous expression.
Actually, it's Atochi.
The tiger says with a kind smile on his face, probably used to people mispronouncing his name. Ah, sorry. Sir Atushy. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Oh, am I in trouble?
The tiger rubs his paws again, clearly worried that he made some sort of mistake. I mean, I can understand him to some degree. Being in a foreign nation must be stressful. Especially one like ours. Even if we have a decent relationship with the cats, us canines can be quite intimidating at times. No. I just want to ask you about what happened.
Okay.
Huh, that was easier than I thought. What should I ask him? Let's ask about the painting. So, about the painting, what does it look like?
Oh, well, it's just a simple painting of Mount Goro.
Mount Goro?
It's the highest mountain on our island. It's beautiful, really. A white peak that makes a perfect contrast with the green trees that grow on its feet. One magnificent art of nature that I humbly tried to recreate in that painting.
Now that's odd. Why would the prince of the Canine Kingdom want the painting of a mountain only found in Thenia? Could it be a political move? Maybe he's trying to express his admiration for the feline culture by acquiring such a piece of art? Personally, I think it's a good move. Having a good political relationship with a feline nation could bring good things. Ask about what happened. Where were you when the theft took place?
I was here on this same spot. The painting was laying there with the others.
With the others? I thought it was an important painting, so why not place it in a safer spot?
Well, I had been told about the dangers of this area, so I thought that if a product stood out above the others, it would be easier for the thieves to pinpoint which to steal.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Burglars tend to analyze their prey before attacking. They check if the merchant takes special care of a certain object, how the merchant behaves, how careful he is with his cargo. Every piece of information is key for any good thief. I would know. So, you said that you were here when it happened? But then, how did they steal it in front of you?
Oh, that. It's a little embarrassing, honestly. You see, I usually eat my own homemade lunch on my ship, but today I couldn't find any of my packed bentos. So I couldn't resist the wonderful smell of that stall over there.
Sir Otto points towards a merchant that was happily selling his grilled fish.
But the food was so heavy that it made me really tired all of a sudden. So I rested my head on the counter for a split second, and the next thing I know, my beautiful painting is gone.
Sounds like someone poisoned his food with droplets of valerian, a very strong herb that induces sleep.
Luckily for me, I saw him in the corner of my eye, the sneaking bastard that had stolen it.
You saw who did it?
Only the back of him. Didn't get a good look.
Sounds like they had it all planned from the start. But that does make me wonder, is that guy from the food stall related to the thief in some way? I should probably interrogate him, just in case. Ask about the thief. What did he look like?
What do you mean?
The person who stole your painting. What did he look like? Did he have white fur like me? Was he short? The tiger puts his paw on his chin and looks up, trying to remember any possible details. Then his eyes light up and he points to my cloak.
Well, I didn't get a good look at him, but I know one thing for sure. The thief had that exact same cloak. The same color and everything.
Are you... certain?
Yes, completely sure.
That's quite interesting. I mean, there's always a possibility those idiots are involved. And since Sir Otto is so sure of what he saw, it might be worth it to go and try talking to those assholes. After all, only 5 people own these cloaks. Hugo made them himself when he formed the gang. 1 for me, 1 for Pat, 1 for Lewis, and 1 for Luna. And the last one for him. So yeah, their involvement is entirely possible if Sir Otto is right. Although, I honestly hope that they're not. After what happened yesterday, I don't want to see Pat's face. And Hugo could be there too. That's a box I don't want to open. So please, goddesses, if you really are real, please don't let those idiots be involved in this. Alright, I think I'm done for now. Seems like I have a lead. I happily announced to Sir Otto, who doesn't look too sure about my newfound confidence.
A lead? But I told the same thing to that knight and he said that it was not helpful.
Again, Rodrick's social skills surprised me. It's fine, Sir Atushy. You have nothing to worry about. The White Fox is on the case. I'll bring back your painting, I promise.
Sure? Finding.
The tiger says with his fist up, making me wonder if it's supposed to make me feel better. But it doesn't matter. It's probably a feline thing. So, I'm off, Sir Otto. Be careful with the rest of your cargo and don't eat anything suspicious. If you're hungry, buy a fish and grill it yourself. Sir Otto doesn't get to say anything else as I happily jogged towards the food stall. I'm ready to put my low street skills to good use. And for a good cause for the first time. I know who that tiger is. After bribing the vendor and sweet-talking him into giving me information, I found out that he indeed put some valerian water into the fish. He also confirmed that Hugo was involved. Unluckily for me. So now I just need to find that idiot. A task that shouldn't be too hard, since I know where their hideout is. And as a matter of fact, I'm standing in front of a certain abandoned building, which is used to hide all the stolen goods. My hand is a little shaky, as seeing Hugo is the last thing that I wanted to do. But I'm doing this for a good cause, so I gather all the courage that I can muster and perform the secret knocking. A silly code that Hugo came up with to make sure only members of the gang entered this place. I take a deep breath and wait for the door to unlock, which takes a few minutes, but it eventually does. The inside of this abandoned building hasn't changed one bit. The walls are as broken as always, but most of the holes in them are covered by many ripped sheets and banners that we had stolen. But the light still managed to enter through some of the gaps on the roof and walls. The floor creaks with every step I take, and the smell of dust is ever so present. I look around the house, and right in the middle, sitting on his homemade throne, is the king of our gang, Hugo. My eyes must be deceiving me. I never thought that I would see your pretty face ever again. Hugo is a red and white husky with a curly tail and a nasty scar on the side of his face, which he covered with his hair. The feeling is mutual. After you left me to die, I never thought that I would see you again. The dog laughs at my sharp response, clearly not taking my anger seriously. As per usual. Oh, come on, White. You can't possibly still be mad about such a silly mistake. Pat just got a little scared. Can you blame the poor guy? Besides, I made sure that he learned his lesson. Isn't that right, Pat? The small jackal steps out of the shadows with a submissive look on his face. He looks at us with his head lowered and his tail tucked between his legs. Yes, I learned my lesson. See? He's so sorry about it. How could he still be mad at a face like that? Hugo has a smile on his muzzle the whole time, trying to diffuse any sort of bad blood between Pat and me. Pat, you can go. Give the adults some privacy. Yeah, whatever. Pat steps into his corner again, vanishing into the dark as quickly as he came. Hugo, on the other hand, stands up from his seat and then walks towards me, closing the distance between us. So, to what do I owe this pleasure? I've really missed you. Hugo places his paw on my cheek, sending a shiver down my spine. A familiar touch that I used to love, but after what happened, it scares me. I slap his hand away and keep a stone-hard composure, even as I feel extremely tiny compared to the big male. I see you still have it in you, that fire that I liked so much. Cut the crap, Hugo. You know that I'm not here for a petty reunion. Such a shame. I would have invited you to eat something. He gets closer and I take a step back. We repeat this until my back touches a wall. The dog puts his left paw beside my head and uses his right paw to lift my chin, forcing me to look into his blue eyes. Talk, puppy. I'm all ears. I can feel my hands sweating, my heartbeat rising, and my lungs getting out of my chest. Hugo has always had this effect on me. He knows how to hit the right spots to make me dance in the palm of his hand. He's so frustrating. If I had a good coin every time you shit your pants whenever you face a new challenge, then I would probably be richer than the king himself. He's right. I can't be scared all the time. I need to grow some balls. I look at Hugo dead serious, not being intimidated anymore, and say, I'm here for the painting you stole, Hugo. Give it back. Oh, my puppy works for the royal trash now? Should I call you Sir Ehlly now? Call me whatever you like, Hugo, but that painting is important and you can't have it. Says who? Says me. Hugo seems a little taken aback by my strong resolve, but he's playing his cards well, because he doesn't allow himself to be intimidated either. You know, this is what I like about you. You're such a strong little puppy. And that strength used to be mine when you were by my side. So tell me, is there something that I could do for you to come back to me? Hugo, stop it. It's not like that anymore. Aw, come on, puppy. Can't you give this dog another chance? I promise I'll be better this time. Just remember all those good times we spent together. Are you really going to waste all those years in a stupid painting? I mean it, man. Back off. We're done. Oh, are we? Because I'm just starting. Hugo's body heat was getting more and more unbearable. He was so close to me that I could feel his hot breath hitting against my nose. His scent is just as I remember, strong and masculine, with a fading aroma of powder. Just one kiss, puppy, and you'll be mine again. You'll see. As Hugo was closing in on the gap between our lips, a loud bang makes the whole house tremble. We both look towards the sound, and to my surprise, I see Rodrick standing by the entrance. The wolf is out of breath and a little sweaty, as he had been running for a while. Finally found you. You little rat. He has an angry expression on his face as he enters the building. Me and Hugo just stare at him, none of us daring to move an inch, until the dog... Shit! Hugo tries to grab the smoke bombs that he carried in his back pocket, but as he's about to throw them, my instincts kick in and I hold his arms tight. Puppy? Hugo looks at me with a devastated expression, which soon turns to anger. But before he can do anything, the wolf launches at him and pins him to the ground. The dog struggles, but as I well know, breaking free from Rodrick's iron grip is impossible. Eventually, after a few minutes of struggle, he calms down and accepts his fate. He looks at me with a sad expression, and I can't help but shiver. You're coming with me, and you. We'll talk about this later. Rodrick says to me, but I can hardly process what he just told me. Did I really just do that? Did I really just betray the only lover that I have ever had? So you really are working for them now. You disappoint me, White. To think that you could wag your tail for these bastards. But I know who you are, White. You can pretend to be a decent citizen all you want, but that's not you at all. Don't forget, White. You are mine. You don't belong with them. Finally, the wolf gets tired of Hugo running his mouth, so he decides to take the dog with him. Retrieve the painting, Runt. We'll meet up in Sir Otto's stall. The wolf musters his last order before taking Hugo with him, and as they leave, I remain there for at least half an hour before retrieving the painting.
Oh, my sweet painting, you have returned it to me. Thank you so much, both of you. May the goddess may give you good fortune.
Otto seems happy to have his work back. As for me, I haven't said a word since Rodrick arrested Hugo. I just don't know what to say at this point. Yes, Hugo is an asshole, but we used to be friends. More than friends. He taught me how to survive in these shitty streets. He was the first person who seemed interested in me. He was the first with whom I shared my body with. So even if he's an asshole, I shouldn't have betrayed him like that.
Anyway, gentlemen, it was a pleasure, but I'm quite tired. So if you'll excuse me.
Sir Otto waves at us and then returns to his boat, taking all his paintings with him. Once he's gone, Rodrick turns his gaze to me, looking at me with a puzzled expression. You knew him, didn't you? I nod, not wanting to explain my past to Rodrick. Or to anyone for that matter. I just want to forget. You did the right thing, Runt. You know that, right? For the second time, you've demonstrated your worth to me, Runt. You should... It's not so easy, okay? He was my friend, and I betrayed him. What does that say about me? I'm not trustworthy. I'm trash. We both remain in silence after I finish my ranting. I don't even know if he cares about anything I just said, but I wanted to get it out of my chest. We can't change what we did or who we used to be. The past will always be there. The mistakes we made will always be there, haunting you until the day you die. So, all there's left to do is go forward and try to atone. You are the king's retainer now. You belong by his side. Same as me, same as Ikalis, and even that moron, Almond. Believe what you must, but I think you've earned your spot. You are one of us. With that said, the wolf walks past me and pats my shoulder. Also, you're on the right side of the law this time. You were given a second chance to make things right. Don't waste it with self-pity. I listen carefully to his words. I know he means well by them, and that he's somehow trying to cheer me up, but that knot in my stomach hasn't vanished yet. But still, there's something that I must do, and I can't delay it any further. So putting on my bravest face, I follow behind the wolf. I've always felt a certain disdain towards the church. Maybe it's because my mom never inspired me to be a believer, or rather because homosexuality is punishable sin, according to them, which is kind of fucked up considering I am one. In any case, I'm not here to discuss if I'm going to the Sacred Garden or if I'll rot away in the Great Void. I've never been in such a big temple before. Most of the towns that I've been in are quite small compared to this. I say to Rodrick, making a small conversation with him. This is the second biggest in the entire continent. What's the first? The one situated in Zigma, the capital of Calumnia. It's the second biggest city in the Canine Empire, and it's only populated by church members. In the middle of it all, an even bigger temple was built hundreds of years ago. You sure know a lot about the church, Rodrick. Are you a believer yourself? It's basic knowledge, Runt. Now shut your trap. People are trying to pray. He was right. Some of the visitors were giving us nasty looks, so I decided to be respectful and remain quiet. Rodrick has kept his arms crossed the entire time we've been here, and the severe expression on his face makes me wonder if he also feels uncomfortable being here. Or maybe that's how he always is, and I'm reading too much into it. Excuse me, brothers. Father Flavio will now meet with you. If you could, please follow that hall to the left. A small dog nun calls for us and indicates where we must go. It took a good hour of waiting, but it seems like they're finally giving us the time of day. Let's get this over with, Rodrick says as he starts walking in the direction the nun indicated. We enter a small room that has a few benches and a smaller altar, so I'm guessing this is the one used for private ceremonies. By that altar, a dog in robes is waiting for us with a smile. Father Flavio, I presume. Ah, my sons, I must apologize to have kept you waiting. There was some business that I had to attend to. But that doesn't matter now. Please tell me, what may I... Father Flavio's eyes land on me, and for a second it seems like he saw a ghost. I barely noticed it, but it was there for sure. Do for you. The man seems friendly enough, but something about his forced smile gives me the heebie-jeebies. But that doesn't matter now. I have to ask this man as many questions as I can. I can't waste this opportunity. Father Flavio, I presume? Before I can even speak, Rodrick jumps into the conversation, which is something that I honestly didn't expect him to do. Yes, my son, I am. And you two are? My name is Sir Rodrick, and this man besides me is Sir Ehlly. We are both King Alurius' retainers. We appreciate your time. We won't waste it. Ah, Sir Rodrick, no need for such formalities. Take all the time you need. Although, when I was told a messenger from the king was coming to pay us a visit, I was not expecting such guests as yourselves. So he knew we were coming. But how? No one aside from me, Rodrick, and the king himself knew about this. If I had known, I would have made some tea. The man giggles at his own comment, keeping his eyes fixated on Rodrick. I'll ask again, though. What may I do for you, my sons? There is a concerning matter that has been brought to our attention, and the king wishes to know if the church knows about this. Oh, and what might that be? Rodrick slaps my back and pushes me forward, giving me the okay to talk. I feel like such a kid right now. Father, we're here to discuss this. I take the medal out of my pocket and show it to him. The man seems unfazed by it, as he keeps his smile still. Did you come to return it? How kind of you, Brother Ehlly. No, we're not here to return it. We want to know what this is. It's a church medal. Are you familiar with the way our magnificent organization works? I can't say I am. Allow me to explain then. In our church, there are 3 main jobs that must be done to keep it running. We need people to spread the grace of our goddesses to the less fortunate. Those are the missionaries. They make sure to do social work and help others. We also need people to protect our precious church from evildoers. The ones that do that are called crusaders. Am I right, Sir Rodrick? The wolf doesn't respond to Father Flavio. He just remains silent and looks away. And lastly, there are people who make sure to keep the church running from the inside, performing the sacred rites and organizing the resources. The priests, such as myself. So, after hearing all this, I must tell you that, to some of us who reach a high rank within the church, medals like that are given. And I'm sure the owner of that one you have in your hand will be glad to have it back. It's quite a tragedy to lose your medal, since it's a sacred object that signifies your status in this wonderful community. That's nice and all, but we're not giving it to you. No, of course, you're right. May you tell me where you found that medal, my son? I took it from my murderer. I say it with a dead serious tone and expression, which finally manages to shake the happy expression off his face. I'm done playing around. Even if we're here on behalf of the king, this man is clearly not taking us seriously, and I'm having none of that. That is awful. But I must assure you, none of the believers would dare do such a thing. And if you say the symbol doesn't match, then it must be someone from outside the church. He does have a point. If the symbol doesn't match, then maybe they're not. Did we ever mention the symbol not matching? What? Of course you did. Really? Because I don't remember. You didn't? I guess I just assumed. You assumed, huh? Odd thing, isn't it? Why so nervous all of a sudden, father? He's right. His calm demeanor has changed completely, and now he even smells a little sweaty. Is Rodrick intimidating him? No, that can't be. Well, you're here accusing our sacred community of a heinous crime. We never accused you of anything, father. My partner just said that he was attacked by the owner of that medal. Rodrick turns around and walks towards the entrance, leaving me by myself with Father Flavio. Wait a second. What is he doing? We have them right where we want them. Why leave now? Let's go, Sir Ehlly. Seems like our conversation is over. And Father, please look into the possibility of another organization making those fake medals. The king will be expecting a report. With that said, he turns the corner and leaves. I decide to follow, even when I'm not happy about it. What the hell is wrong with you? We had him. He was cracking. We just had to push a little harder. We could have gotten so much information out of him. Runt, Are you ready to face an organization as powerful as a church? A single word from him and that man could have put us in chains, whipped us, and then executed us. What? Wouldn't they get in trouble from doing that? I mean, we're the king's retainers. They would. But before the king could lift a finger to help us, we would be dead already. We would be accused of some crime and undergo trials in less than a day. No way. So, I'll ask you a serious question, and you better answer honestly. Is your will strong enough to keep you fighting until the end? What? Are you ready to face them with all you've got, because they will destroy you without a second thought? Will you fight? I will. I say without hesitation, my fists clenching and my teeth gritting. I don't care how much she tries to scare me. I would do anything to find her. Even if I have to give my life, I will see my goal accomplished. They will crush you. They've done to so many others, and they will do it again. Your tiny life means nothing to them. I don't care. I'm ready for anything they throw at me. The wolf sighs and places his arms on his hips, looking at me with an unsure expression. Just as I feared, you're more stupid than you look. His eyes are burning a hole through my skull, and for a moment, I fear that he's going to try to stop me, but then he grins. Which means that you might need my help. I will help you uncover the truth behind that metal. But in return, I want you to live your tiny life with your head held high. You are the king's sword and shield, and you will give your life to protect him. Am I clear? Yes, sir. All right then. Let's go back to the inn. We must get ready for the ball. As Rodrick says that, he has already turned his back on me, walking down the street. The view from his broad back inspires something that I haven't felt in a while, and honestly, I never thought that I would feel it again. Hope. To be continued. So, what do you think so far? Pretty cool, right? This build took a lot of time to finish, and I apologize for that, everyone. Especially because I wanted to have it done by the middle of February, but it ended up taking me 2 more weeks than I had planned. Anyway, now that the apologies are out of the way, I really hope that you like this one. We finally finished Chapter 2 with the 3 routes, with Rodrick's being the last. In this one, we got to meet Hugo, our first tiger in this universe, and a pretty sketchy priest. So, a lot happened. Talking about Hugo, any thoughts on him? I want to hear all your opinions, so if you want, consider joining the Heart of Amethyst Discord so that I can read you all. Oh, and of course, please tell me what you think of the new CG. I freaking love it, and I want to know if you do too. My buddy Kinu did a wonderful job with it, don't you think? And you know what? He's going to start working in the creation of even more of those in the future. So please, go follow him on his Twitter account, Kino Tao. It would mean a lot to the both of us. You can follow me too if you want. Ooh, at Jaden Pup. And with that said, I can't forget to thank the people that made this possible. Thank you so much to all my patrons for being so wonderful. Please consider becoming a Patreon if you can. Without their efforts, I could not do this visual novel. And that's all I have to say for now. Thank you for reading. Have a wonderful day. So that was, I guess, the end of Chapter 2 Rodrick route, as Jaden said. So, yeah. Obviously, the church, corrupt. I mean, you could say imitates real life. So, yeah. Can't really trust the church people. Obviously, the medals are probably from some sketchy, other section of the church that does some other dirty work. And considering the importance that the king placed on Ehlly when he found him, I'm assuming that that's probably why they kidnapped Ehlly's sister and killed the mom, so there wouldn't be any evidence, and probably they tried to kill Ehlly, so hide the evidence, I guess. But I guess now the church knows that he's alive still. And given in the other route, Almonds, I believe, where one of the church's, what are they called? Crusaders? The one that was at the bar when he saw the medal and Ehlly, it's like, he kind of recognized, but didn't want to, well, yeah, he recognized the thing, so probably, more than likely, the church has something to do with this. What is still up in the air. But yeah. Also, I know who that tiger is. Atto, otherwise known as Beast Sauce. So if you're on Twitter, well, furry Twitter, and you like tigers, go follow Atto, or Beast Sauce. He draws tigers. He's very good, too. Very nice, too. I'm gonna make him voice his character, too. I should have made Garo voice his character. Oh well. If he shows up, maybe I can ask Zordy to ask his boyfriend Garo to voice the character. Anyways, but yeah. So, write down in the comments what you thought, and given that this is just a little bit over an hour, I'm probably not going to split it into 2 episodes, so yeah. But anyways, but yeah, write down in the comments what you thought, and thank you all for watching/listening. If you'd like to play Heart of Amethyst yourself, you can find it over on itch, and you can find a direct link to it from the creator's Twitter page, which is at Jaden Pup on Twitter. And usually they have the itch link pinned at the very top, so you should be able to find it if you just click on the link that will be in the description. And if you would like to support the Heart of Amethyst on Patreon, I will also have that link down in the description where you get early access to builds of Heart of Amethyst and other stuff. So yeah, also, if you're feeling generous, I do have a coffee, which is linked down in the description if in case you want to give me like $1 or something as like, hey, good job. I like your videos. Here's $1. Yeah, I would appreciate that, but you don't have to do it. But I'm still suggesting it. Anyways, but yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.